I have the audacity to believe that no matter which side of the political aisle you stand on, no matter what you've experienced, and no matter what you look like, you belong. You have something valuable to contribute to our nation and to the world. We need you. It is my pleasure today to introduce and invite you to participate in the Both Belong Appreciation Campaign, hosted by myself, Katrina Gaiman, on my channel Inspiring Peace. There are many challenges facing our world today, and it is easy to feel powerless in the face of them, but you have power. Tune in to this channel on Fridays at noon Eastern Standard Time in October 2020, leading up to the US election, for practical peace building and depolarization tips. And join me on Monday, November 2nd, to publicly state what you appreciate about someone with whom you disagree, using the hashtag BothBelong. Now, you may be looking at me and wondering, why should you listen to what I have to say? Good question. I have spent this last decade traveling around the world, deconstructing my own worldview, and trying to understand people who are different from me. I don't believe that I have the right to ask you to do something unless I myself have been willing to do that. And I have worked with people whom I disagree. For example, I consulted professionally with the military as an analyst for several years, even though I personally believe in nonviolence, because I believe that I have a lot to learn from people who don't see the world the same way that I do. Appreciating people who are different from you or who you disagree with takes standing in a place in between. I have been standing in a place in between my entire life because of what I inherited from my family. On my mom's side of the family, my grandparents grew up Amish, left the Amish community right after my mom was born, went into radio technology of all things, and then moved to Haiti, where my mom grew up. Now, I am not Haitian American, and I grew up in a rural Midwestern community, but as a kid, I learned more things about Haitian political history at home than I did about US political history, and I was often confused about my own identity. The way that I felt inside did not match the way that I looked on the outside. My mom spoke Creole at home sometimes, she gave me a French middle name, and I pursued French studies all throughout school. I even obtained special permission from my college to study abroad in Senegal instead of France to complete my French degree, because I wanted so badly to understand post-colonial studies and to understand this international legacy I had received from my mom. On my dad's side of the family, you can trace my family back to rural coal mining town in Appalachia. And you can look from generation to generation, intergenerational cycles of trauma handed down, including abandonment, alcoholism, child abuse, and rampant poverty. My dad was a first-generation college student. So from my dad's side, I received this pretty hefty psychological legacy to contend with. So for most of my life, I have been trying to reconcile these different parts of my own identity. But because of that, that means that I have something to say about how we can reconcile our differences in this place in between. Because I know what it feels like to not belong anywhere, to not fully belong into a conservative camp and to not fully belong into a liberal camp. So my peace building tip for you today is to share your story. When we all have reasons for the things that we believe. And often these reasons are based on our own life experiences. When we just say what we believe, it's easy for us to put up our defenses and our walls and not hear each other. But when we share our stories, we can bypass these defenses and hear each other more clearly. Imagine an America where your story matters. No matter which side of the political aisle you stand on, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what you look like. That's the America I want. See you next time. Peace.
Tune in next time to Inspiring Peace for the one-word solution to our divisions. And join me on the day before the 2020 US election to state what you appreciate about someone with whom you disagree politically, using the hashtag BothBelong.